Okay, wave hello. Here we go.
So you wanna be
So you want to be.
a
Look at
cool
him dance. I just met this man in the parking lot 3 minutes ago. I said, can you dance? He said, you betcha, lady. And I did.
looking real,
Looking real.
cool
Cool and fine.
Casting your thinking net.
Casting your net.
So you wanna
Here we go. Wait for the drum roll. My drums are in the other room. Bop, 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 bop. Hello, hello, hello. It's Bonnie D. I'm back. Haven't done this show in such a long time, and I was introduced to this very interesting man sitting next to me here on Zoom. We are virtually live streaming, and he was introduced to me by a mutual friend, Laura Dome. And Laura, Rob, wave hello to Laura. Laura, we're doing a shout
Hello,
out to you.
Laura.
We'll send it to you. So this is We Dish, two Saucy Dame and Cool Dude. I had 53 Cool Dudes last year, and Rob has agreed to be Cool Dude number 57. I have to get a banner or a badge or a hat for you. Is that okay, Rob?
Oh, sure. I'm 57.
There you go. There you go. I heard it was a good age. Okay, let me get started here. I have some interesting things to tell you all about Rob, and let's get started. So, and by the way, his last name is Burgner, Burgner, but we go by only last initials. We're pretending to be anonymous. Here we go. Okay, so We Dish, two Saucy Dame and Cool Dude Flair with Bonnie D and Rob B. Wave hello, live streaming on air. You may know us well, one or both of we two, seasoned in life, and we love what we do. From social channels, virtual embrace, we're sharing our insights in this special space. Here on We Dish, we're here to play, lightening up life, even though it's sunny out, in our uniquely fresh way. Now I'll share the life of this very cool dude. When I'm done rhyming, Rob will add more with attitude. So here we go. You ready? This is your life. Born in Atlanta, where roots run deep, a sickly child read while others ran in the streets. Under oxygen tents, Rob would quietly turn a page, dreaming of distant horizons well beyond his age. At 5 came a guitar, and Rob found his sound. Piano, trumpet, any instrument around. If it made music, he could master the art. Visuals and rhythm were guiding his heart. A stoic World War II father shaped Rob's life frame. A firecracker of a mom who feared no name. Stand your ground, she said with grit, and one bold punch proved the lesson fit. Rob's hero, Uncle Robert, left Rob in awe. Black belt medic who saw the wartime raw. From Vietnam courage to his family's freedom, his legacy shaped the man who Rob would become. From 16 on, how am I doing so far? Okay.
Oh, that's spectacular. That sounds
Okay.
pretty interesting.
You, you do, you
You'd be
do, in
my
spite of yourself.
publicist.
From 16 on, Rob earned his way, teaching, playing gigs, renovating homes by day. Music theory by day, brass quartets at night. Rob lived a double life in the noteworthy spotlight. Singer, songwriter spark, then heartbreaks bend. Engineering blueprints marked his life's next trend. He built an off-grid urban dream with visionary spark ahead of its time till a partner's betrayal left its mark. Then, with Rob's vision, the blueprint expanded. Urban sustainability was thoughtfully branded. Corporate heights with global teams in view, yet creativity whispered, Rob, there's more to pursue. So Rob launched Bleeding Edge, daring and bold, mastering technology before the trends were told. Streaming AI, marketing sweep, a border collie mind that wouldn't stay asleep. I'm not even done. Black belts and supplements, Rob trains strong. PubMed for fun all day long. Friends call first when diagnoses appear. Rob studies solutions with curiosity clear. Worldwide, 60 country stamps are on Rob's passport page, from lava flows bright to his Serengeti stage. Ice hotels, eclipses, DMZ lines, adventure still fuels his restless designs. Now with his bride, Rob takes flight. Carry on cowboys, filming it just right. From woods as a toddler to global terrain, this wanderlust kid's creativity fulfills his domain. Rob, how'd I do?
Oh, that is spectacular.
I'm glad. I'm going
I
to
would
finish it
actually need a
now.
copy of that. I'm going to put that in my
Oh,
obituary.
it's all, oh my God. No, I'll give you the clip from It's All How I Read It. It's all in the delivery. You know that.
It's all in the delivery.
We're here on We Dish, chatting on life score, culture, music, food, and oh, so much more. Join us live or on demand, day or night. We won't be here. That's why they invented on demand. And enjoy our dishing with shared delight. Meet us for real in our live streaming glow. Make a glow, Rob. Make a glow. We're glowing. There we go. Comments are welcome. Just play nice. We know who you are. We Dish, Two Saucy Dame and Cool Dude Too, Bonnie D and Rob B. Dishing on life's fun. Here's a little French. Pour vous. Okay. So what'd you think? Did we leave anything out?
Oh,
How'd I do?
hey, superbe, superbe.
Okay. I think I know what that means. I'll take that. Rob, is there any part of your life that you would like to expand upon? You want to tell us a little more about Bleeding Edge? Because I just had it in one line there. So tell us a little bit about what you're doing right now, and then we'll go to our music. Okay? Our music
Okay,
favorites.
and so yeah, I can expound on anything as my friends will tell you. So, I mean, call me a random word generator.
Oh, I
But
like that. Go ahead. You're on speaker view.
ble-
It's all
yeah,
yours.
bleeding edge. Was sort of a response. Yeah, I was in the corporate world and successful, and I had a couple of hundred folks I would tell what to do every day, and it was fascinating. I knew people from all over the world, and worked with people from all over the world, from Iran, from France, and loved that. But it was not creative work, and I just got to be in my bonnet, and I love the entrepreneurial life, and so started Bleeding Edge. And initially we did music videos and TV commercials, and a lot of media production. Quickly moved into the web space, moved into programming and content creation. And so it's been a wild ride. We've seen a lot of changes, and now, I mean, we don't really do music videos anymore and TV commercials. Those are sort of passe. But still do a ton of content creation and graphics and web work and that type of thing. So never a dull moment, something different every day, and we've got a great list of clients. So that
Wonderful.
sums it up. It's the
You're
Cliff
gonna
Notes
you're gonna
version.
tell the people from the Super Bowl that TV ads are best. Let's we probably shouldn't go there. That would be a shock as the billions rolled out. I don't usually talk no politics on the show, by the way. Question
Oh,
for
good for
you.
you.
Bleeding edge. Oh, I wouldn't dare. Bleeding edge, cutting edge, advancing edge. How did you come up with bleeding edge? It's a controversial, it's a little edgy in terms of a title for a company. How did you pick it?
Hmm.
What made you decide, Rob? I'm curious.
Yeah, it was a process. It was like early on, we were some early adopters of streaming technologies, and we would try to do things before other people would do them or before they were aware of them. And I hate things that are trite or overdone, and so it was really cutting edge. But at 20 years ago, the phrase bleeding edge had come out. It meant technologies that were so far advanced, you could lose some blood on them if you weren't careful. But it really explained what we were doing. There were a few misses and
Yeah.
a lot of hits, but we would try to do things before other people did. So very innovative
Thank
at the
you.
time. And I remember talking about streaming video early on. It was, you remember when they used to have like the little postage stamp, quick time videos online, and they're like 12 frames a second, and they look terrible. And I just knew that it would go somewhere, and obviously it did. Now we're streaming everything on our phones and
Yeah, it's
watching high def
changed. It has
movies.
changed.
Yeah,
I'm an early
yeah.
woman in tech, Rob, and I was a programmer
Ah.
analyst back in the day. I was coding in COBOL on a Xerox Sigma 6 CP3 mainframe for the in Oregon. I was living in Eugene, Oregon at the time, and then I was card punching, the 80 column Hollerith cards, carrying a box with 2,000 cards to run my programs, and the operator in the computer room would slide the deck in, and all of the cards would be read by the computer. This goes back a little bit. Don't make any comments about how long
Oh,
ago
wow.
it
I was
was.
saying my hair standing on end. That is exciting
And then I
stuff.
graduated to an IBM 4341, and we actually were able to type in our code. We had a monitor that would actually enter the code, but I learned to read core dumps on green bar paper, EBCDIC, and go and do, oh, it was just so
Shut the
much
front
fun.
door.
So much fun. And then I was an early user of it was before Quark, it was PageMaker. I was
Yep.
doing corporate newsletters in New York on PageMaker, which was the predecessor to Quark Express. And I was learning to do layout and doing and had them printed out. And I was making crossword puzzles for a correspondent bank, and I was doing one
Hmm.
square at a time. We didn't have a lot of graphics, so I was making a square and attaching the squares to each other, and then putting in the one across, two down. It was so much fun, but it was talk about bleeding edge. Yeah, I think my fingers. And one day they said to me, we're going at the correspondent bank. They said, we're going to go to Macintosh. And I said, what's that? And they said, oh, we're going to put this little box on your desk. You have this thing called a mouse. I said, eek. And they said, no. I said, but I'm a mainframe gal. I want the big, I want the big
Bigger,
computer. And
bigger
they
the
said,
better, right?
no, they said, you're going to learn Mac. And that's how that all happened. And then PageMaker and Quark and
Hmm.
newsletters and videos for corporations. And it was interesting. You and I'll talk more after. But anyway, you just reminded me of Bleeding Edge. Yeah, I think I was there for part of that. So let's go to the part of the show where we want to talk about music. We'd love to know a little bit about your favorite music, any genre, any performers, any style, any era. Come on, regale us. What do you like to listen to, or is there anything that tells the story of your life through music? Talk to me.
It's as you could tell from my bio that you so excellently presented. I started early on, always knew I would be a musician. And so, music's always been the soundtrack to my life and a little bit, agnostic in terms of styles. It's like I like virtually every type of music. And obviously, I led a dual life as a classical musician and as a rock and jazz musician. And so my brain is just a soundtrack of songs. There's a game, a board game. You probably love it. It's called Encore, where teams will go back and forth. You'll have like a topic or a color or a
Okay.
phrase, and you have to go back and forth naming or singing a few notes from a song that have that in it. And
Ah.
I have yet to be defeated at that. I'm
Well, give me some
encyclopedia.
specific songs. We want to know. You got some favorite rock and roll, you got some favorite show tunes, you
Okay.
got some favorite country western, some blues. Come
Yeah.
on, give me
Oh,
give me
yeah,
a couple.
absolutely. So, I was in classical music. I remember, when I was young, I would put on headphones at night to go to sleep, and I would listen to. In Atlanta, we had a National Public Radio, and they would
Mm-hmm.
sign off with Rachmaninoff Symphony Number Two. It was like the Adagio. It was like da 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 da
Oh,
da da.
oh,
Oh, it just made me all weepy. But every time I hear that now, it's like it puts me to sleep. I'm like, I get so relaxed from it. If I'm ever overstressed,
oh,
I'm just
that's a
like,
good
da,
thing.
da, da, da.
As long as it's at the right time. What else? Any more popular music? What are your favorites? Come on, throw me a few.
Oh my gosh. I mean, there are so many I've loved. I remember when punk came along and, Debbie Harry, and that was the first time I heard that. I thought it was spectacular. I remember the first time I heard, Van Halen. Remember I was at a rehearsal and somebody said, "You've got to hear this new band. Listen to this guitar player." And he was doing like the picking type of stuff, the hammer stuff. And I did not know what that was at the time. And so I remember holding myself up in my room for 2 weeks to figure out how to do it so I could, do hammer like that.
What
So I
was
was
your
not
fa
used to somebody being able to play faster than me. I was,
Well, you found, and what was your favorite Van Halen song?
um, oh golly, it was like, honestly, it wasn't the songs I loved so much because I didn't
Mm-hmm.
think the songs were terrific. I just loved to hear that man play. So yeah, it's for me, it was more melodically oriented. So Simon
Hmm.
and Garfunkel, I loved, and
Yes.
anything they did, learned all the songs. I remember when I was watching like a TV show that was on years ago, The Blacklist with James Spader, and they
Oh,
played.
did I have a
Yeah, they
crush on him?
Oh
Oh,
yeah, tremendous. They almost Anne Rice wanted to use him to play a Lestat in the vampire movies. They ended up going with Tom Cruise. Yeah, James
oh
Spader would
dear.
have been
He,
better.
he would have been
But
great. Debbie Harry, was that Heart of Glass? Was that the song
Heart
that
of
you
Glass, Debbie
remember
Harry. I remember
that?
the first time I heard that, and I was like, it was something
Oh,
new. So
yeah.
always looking for something new and something
A heart of
different.
yeah. It was very zippy and bouncy and fast and high pitched and yeah, Very interesting. Any other specific songs? Come on, we want to know.
Oh,
People are
sure.
waiting to
Yeah, it's
hear.
like me. My parents, love music, but they would play these old records from the 40s and 50s. So,
Hmm.
I grew up listening to Frank
Of
Sinatra and,
course.
love the nearness of you. And he had such a gift
Oh,
for phrasing
didn't
and,
he?
just a master of phrasing. Billie Holiday and, songs like Gloomy Sunday. Do you know
Oh,
Gloomy Sunday? That a number of people, they found them like playing that record after committing suicide. It was so depressing. So it became
mm,
a thing back when that song came out,
mm,
almost banned at one point in time because,
really?
yeah, it was so dark.
Oh,
Strange Fruit, God Bless the Child, just such
oh yeah.
just listening to her
Deep,
voice, would
deep.
take you to
Yeah,
a different place.
yeah.
And so,
Do you remember a
those.
song called When I Was 17, It Was a Very Good Year.
Very good
I
year.
was
It
friends
was
with the
a
man who
very
wrote
good
that
year.
song. He
No
lived,
way.
well, he was quite a bit older, but he lived in Great Neck, and I was a
Mm-hmm.
reporter for the Great Neck Record part-time local paper, and they said, there's this man and his wife, and he wants some publicity. Go talk to him. And I went and I discovered he was former president of ASCAP, and he was a member of the American Songbook, and he had written Quando, 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 da 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 da. Tell me Quando, Quando. He wrote that. He
Mm-hmm.
wrote the libretto for some Broadway shows. I think What Makes Sammy
Mm-hmm.
Run. He wrote anyway. Irvin Drake with an E
Mm-hmm.
was a friend, and I got to go to his house and found out about how he made that song and how Frank Sinatra made it famous. You were speaking of Sinatra. Sinatra was driving through the canyon one day in his car, and he heard, I think that was a song he heard the Kingston Trio singing it and some other
Mm-hmm.
songs. And he said, I like that song. And he was doing the something like 24 Hours with Frank. So he was doing one of those TV specials.
Yeah.
And they got him the music, and he sang the song on the special. The sheet music sold out 24 hours later.
Yeah.
You couldn't get a hold of it. So just some interesting timelines in music. You want to know some of my favorite songs?
Of course.
Of course. Well, the soundtrack of my life is somebody much more contemporary than the ones you were talking about, Donna Summer. And if you listen
Uh,
to her discography, she works hard for the money. I always have. Hot Stuff. Well, I've never been a streetwalker in LA, but people have called me Hot Stuff. On the radio, I still think we're on the radio here, Rob, even though we know we're live streaming. No More Tears with Barbara Streisand. Enough is enough is enough. Great music. Last Dance, Last Dance, Last Chance. I'm killing this. I'm not killing it in a good way. I Feel Love with Giorgio Moroder with that. Oh,
Yeah.
I have felt love. And I was a contestant with my dance partner, Michael, years ago at a hotel, a nightclub called the Copa, but not the one in New York. It was Eugene, Oregon. And we danced to Heaven Knows, which was in Donna Summer's version of the MacArthur Park Suite. Her
Mm-hmm.
MacArthur Park Suite ranked higher on the charts than Richard Harris's original. And the
Mm-hmm.
part of the song we picked was Heaven Knows Just How Much I Love You. And
Mm-hmm.
Michael and I came in from opposite sides of the dance floor. I was wearing a 360 circle black satin skirt that tied at the waist with fishnet stockings and high heels and a blue satin top. And he had a matching shirt. And he lifted me up, Saturday Night Live style, spun me over his head, and then death dropped to the floor, 6 inches above the floor. I was about 97 pounds in those
Mm-hmm.
days. Now, forget about it. But anyway, he spun me above and then we did our routine. We came in third in Disco Hawaii. So I'm a
Nice.
big
Congratulations. And no injuries, right? No,
no, none. I told him you dropped me, you're dead. Anyway, and also a couple more songs. Cyndi Lauper, Girls Just Want to Have Fun. That's
of
what
course.
I'm doing. And a couple of independent songs, You Don't Own Me by Leslie Gore, who left us way too soon.
You
You
don't
don't
own
own
me.
me. I made a music video with a band called the Chaperones on Long Island who were on my TV
Mhm.
show, Something to Talk
Ah,
About. And we
great name
filmed
for a
it.
band, actually.
Oh
It's
yeah, and we filmed it on the beach. What the drummer in the band had a house on the beach on Long Island, and I was throwing a tinfoil ring into the water and looking at Tony, who was the leader of the group, and I said, "You don't own me." And I threw this fake ring into the water, and then we finished. We did more video in my TV studio. We decorated it like a high school gymnasium. And we had all of the band members bring their wives, their girlfriends, their
hmm
moms, and we had a crowd dancing. And I was dancing with somebody and looking over his shoulder at Tony and saying, You don't own me. And we actually videoed and filmed the whole thing and edited together. But my singing voice was so weak that they had a girl singer dub over me when they,
Overdone. No shame.
yeah, yeah, no shame at all, no shame at all. So I'm partial to that. I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar by Helen Reddy. What a great, great
Hmm.
theme song. Here's one you'll appreciate. Me and Bobby McGee by Janis Joplin. And
Oh, sure.
the line that works for me, and I think you too, is the famous line from that song, Freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose.
Hmm.
Doesn't that say a lot? Come on. And then
Hmm.
finally, Pat Benatar hit me with your best shot. Aretha Franklin, Respect. Gloria
Hmm.
Gaynor, I Will Survive. And Patti LaBelle, New Attitude. So there you go. Those are my
Oh, love him, love him. Oh, and were you a Bob Dylan fan by any chance? You remember? Yeah.
more as he got older, more later on than
Just love the
in the early.
songwriting, and here's one you may not know. It's like a tie-in between Frank Sinatra and Bob Dylan. Both of them never did two takes. So Frank Sinatra, but probably because he had to get to a bar, but he felt like you would lose spontaneity if you had to do two takes. Bob Dylan, the same thing, and I kind of get that from all the work I've done in the studio. It's like you're
Yeah.
always trying to make it perfect, but oftentimes the first take is the best take, whether
Yes.
you're an actor or a musician. So you'll find mistakes in there, say, especially Bob Dylan's. Stuck outside of Mobile, the Memphis Blues. He makes a big boo boo in the middle of it, left it in. Just one
Yeah.
take. So
Yeah.
it's
That's something about
spontaneity.
being real. You know, something a buzzword recently that I don't use is
Hmm.
authentic. Authentic. I
What's
call
that?
it real deal. And when you make a mistake and you leave it in, that's the real deal. That's who you are. And
Hmm.
that's why I only do live shows. I don't pre-record these. I don't scrub them. I don't edit them. It
Hmm.
is what is you and me talking live, being human with each other, being real, and it is what it is. If I mess up or you
Hmm.
mess up or we say something wrong, well, that's just the way it is. So hope the
Hmm.
wrong people aren't watching. Anyway, there we go. So
The wrong.
let's go to the part of the show. I enjoyed talking music with you. Now let's go to off the top, fast and furious. So I've got some
Okay.
topics, and I've got some topics here, and I'm going to introduce a topic, and then you'll tell us your take, your part, your POV on it, and then I'll tell you mine. So let's
Okay.
start off with, I'm very intrigued with your life and with how much you've accomplished, Rob. And let's start off with how you start your day. What is a food or drink that powers you? What do you love? What do you start with? Anything. Tell me.
I would love to start, say it was something esoteric or something I discovered in a, little dive in Bangkok, but just coffee. It's like people say, "Oh, I gave up caffeine or I gave up coffee," and I was like, "That's your choice." I said, "Actually, coffee is chock full of polyphenols, and studies show that it's actually very healthy to drink coffee." People say, "Oh, I haven't drank," and so and I was like. Studies show that people who drink moderately live longer, healthier lives than teetotalers. So, put that in your pipe and smoke it, which is not healthy in any way you look at it, but
All right, we
I
need
can't spell.
details. What kind of coffee do you brew it at home? Do you buy it? Is
Mm.
it filtered? Is it French press? What's the flavor? How many cups do you have? Do you add anything to it? Come on, let's dish. This
Oh,
is We Dish.
I'm a border collie. You think I have the patience to, go through a process? It was like grind the beans, put them in there. It's like, I'll grind some beans, the more esoteric, the better. But then I just dump them in my Ninja coffee maker, which you would love. I can either do, coffee, or I can do cappuccino with it, or I can just pop in the Nespresso pods, which are much better than the Keurig pods. Drink it straight and black, and the thicker the better, and the more caffeine, the better.
There you go. I discovered about 20 years ago that I can't do caffeine anymore. And I used to be able to drink 5 to 10 cups a day. And
Oh,
I was
sure.
working for Chase Manhattan Bank, which was way back in the day. And somebody brought in, we were in a meeting in a conference room, and somebody brought in a tray of coffee from a local vendor. And they passed them around, and I didn't think anything about it. I drank it, and it was like my hands and my feet didn't stop jittering for at least 2 hours. My brain was on the ceiling. It took
Hmm.
hours to come down, and I that's when I learned that I just don't tolerate caffeine anymore. So
Hmm.
I buy decaf pods sometimes, and even that little bit of decaf, I have to say to myself, we will stay steady, we will stay quiet, will sit still. And I'm learning to get through decaf, but I miss good coffee, Rob.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, the
And do you have
decaf not the
anything?
same.
I know. It's like alcohol-free beer. Do you have something with the coffee? A toast or an egg or a pancake or oatmeal or anything? Not just coffee.
No, sort of accidental, intermittent fasting, which is supposed to be healthy for you. But I usually get up, have my coffee, start answering emails, and start diving into the day. And then the next thing you know, it's like I intend to eat breakfast, but it just turns into brunch or lunch, and yeah, so.
Well, I have a special shake I make in the morning, and I'll tell you very quickly. I have one of those personal Hamilton Beach blenders that has an on-off pulse. It doesn't have an on-off
Mm-hmm.
switch. And I put in 6 ounces of cold 1% milk, and I put in a
Mm-hmm.
couple of squirts of raw agave syrup instead of sugar. And then I put in a banana, a small one or a medium one. They can't
Mm-hmm.
be mushy gushy and they can't be hard where they leave a chalky taste in your throat for 3 hours. Has to be just right. So I buy 9 bananas a week at the store and I try to buy enough almost green that they last a week. And sometimes I
Mm-hmm.
freeze them and then microwave 10 seconds to get a knife through them and cut. Anyway, and then I add a little bit of dry cocoa, unsweetened cocoa. And once in a while, I cheat and add a little bit of old-fashioned vanilla ice cream, but not often. And then I add frozen sliced strawberries, unsweetened. So it's basically
Mm-hmm.
strawberry, banana, cocoa, milk, agave, and a couple of ice cubes. And I'll
Mm-hmm.
blend it. And Rob, I've turned it into a little gratitude session. I started doing this about 2 months ago. I don't know why, but while I'm pulsing, I'll do a gratitude to my children and their
Mm-hmm.
families by name. And then I'll do a gratitude in my heart to people I know who are ill or have problems who need a good thought, and I'll send it their way or to their families if I know somebody is not doing well. And then I do gratitude for me, which is the strangest thing. I say thank you for me, and I have all the names I've ever used, and then I make a
Mm-hmm.
little acronym out of them, and then I finish pulsing, and I take the cap off the personal blender, and I have a reusable plastic straw with one of those pipe cleaner things that goes down,
Mm-hmm.
rinse it out. I clean it in the nighttime and then I rinse it out in the morning. And then I come in here to my office and I drink my shake and that starts my day. What do you think of that?
Actually, that's exceedingly healthy. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think I have the patience for that in the morning. Everything I take is in pill form, so I have a schedule of supplements that start as soon as I get up in the morning. Well, these go with an
Wow.
empty stomach, and
Wow.
these are powders you take 30 minutes before eating. Then when you eat, there's a batch of like 20 supplements I take, and then there's the pre-workout supplements, the post-workout supplements. Then the things you take with dinner, and then the things you take before bed. And I know my wife. I have like a cabinet that's filled up with all these. And my wife looks at it and goes, "You got to be."
Oh my God. Wow. Wow. I haven't heard quite that many. I've had guests mention one or two, but not like that. Well, that's why you look
A
and
little,
sound so good. And I know you're
a little
99 years old
obsessive.
and you're at
Yeah,
99, you're looking good for your age.
for my age,
You're looking really, really good. So,
not
okay,
going
let's
gentle into that
go
dark
on to
night.
the next one.
Yes.
What's something, no, we don't. And then we're not going gentle anywhere, you and I. We something you lost, broke, sold, or gave away that you wish you still had. Anything?
Oh, golly, there's a long list.
Yeah, give me a
Like
couple.
any dude, from the 70s or 60s or
Mm.
80s. It's like if you could have back all the cars you owned at one time. You had a 67, right? 67 Mustang,
Oh,
and
what color? What color? What color was a Mustang?
it was green, so nothing really exciting, but it was just in mint condition. And I had like a
Mm.
Sport Fury with a 383 engine, which I loved.
Oh,
It had like you would squeeze the steering wheel and the horn would blow. So the horn was built into the steering. So you'd be driving along, you got tense, it'd be like, what? It's just, everything
there's
adjustable.
Rob again.
So all the, I'd love to have the cars back in instruments. I've had so many great instruments over the years. Still have,
Yeah.
my first electric guitar, which is a 1966 silver tone. And,
Does it have a name? Did
silver.
you name it?
I did not name, I have never named an instrument. I named all the cars, never named an instrument. And,
What was the Mustang named? What was the name of the Mustang?
uh, Gladys, it's just, I thought it was ironic, to name a car that fast and that cool looking Gladys. And so, nothing against the Gladyses out there in the
Was
world.
there a Gladys in
So,
your life, or was
I love,
it?
no, no, I would never name a car after that. Another car I named, Mabel, the Sport Fury we called the Red Swan because it was just a floating
Oh.
yacht. And,
Oh.
so yeah, cars had a name, but never the instruments. I
Oh,
don't know what
that's
that's
funny.
all about.
I missed my Z cars. I had a series of, they were originally Datsun and then Nissan. I owned
Oh,
five
the
of them, not
280 or
all
the
at this. Oh, 280, the 300.
Oh, I
Yeah.
had a 300. Did you have like the tops on it? What do you got?
Mine were all automatic. I didn't do standard. Sorry, I know
Mhm.
people used to stop me. Actually, men used to stop me at the entrance to the Midtown Tunnel when we'd be in traffic going through the tunnel, and they'd say, "Lady, I want to buy your car." I had kids walking by when I came out of my building in Great Neck and drove up the driveway. I had some teenage boys come over as I was getting ready to go into traffic. Well, there wasn't much traffic there, and they knock on the window and say, "Lady, do you want to sell your car?" These were really, really good looking, really, really. I've been picked up at 65 miles an hour on the Long Island Express. I remember saying, I want,
Yeah.
I want to call you, pull over. No.
You're
So
thinking,
those were,
yeah, I know I'm looking good, but
I know, I know. No, they were, a couple of them were convertibles. The last one was white with a red rag top and red leather seats. And
nice.
unfortunately, it was in a spin out accident on a highway in Durham on my way back from my drum
Oh.
lesson. And it's a miracle that I'm still here because the car spun out on a rainy road. We were doing 75 in the rain. I was coming from my drum lesson,
Mm,
and all of a sudden I lost control of the wheel, and the car started veering to the left, and I just held on, and I actually saw my death. I saw
mm,
me going across two other lanes of high-speed traffic, and I saw me being, don't even want to know. And
mm.
when I came back from my little reverie, I was sitting, I had turned 180 degrees. I was sitting against the guardrail in the middle of the highway and in the middle of the road, and nobody had stopped, nobody had beeped, nobody had hit me, and nobody tried to help me.
Wow.
And it's
Yeah.
like the world stopped. It just stopped. For a couple of seconds, everything stopped. And I was fine. And I pinched myself. The motor was running, the lights were on, and I was facing traffic, sitting impaled on the guardrail with a swamp in the middle between the north and the south. And I had to call for a tow truck and I had to call the police. Nobody even noticed that I was there. They were whizzing by. I won't tell you the rest of the
Wow.
story, but the car had to be totaled. It wasn't really that bad, but the right rear panel got squished a little bit, and the insurance company, and I got back almost everything I'd paid for it 5 years
Mhm.
before from the
Yeah.
insurance. So I have
But
a
you
good
didn't get
insurance.
squished, which is,
No, I didn't. It was,
take the win, right? Yeah.
but I got to tell you something really, really funny. I had a squeezy, one of those tension balls, those squeezy balls my dad had given me
Mm.
years before, and it was in my purse for some reason. And as I'm sitting there looking around to say, "Am I still alive?" the squeezy ball comes out of my purse and rolls onto the passenger seat. And when the cop arrived, he said, "Lady, there's no way you should be alive." And I said, he said, "Who's looking out for you?" And I said, "My dad."
Mm.
Is that something? I'll tell you the rest of the story. But I had to give the car up. And so now I'm driving a black Beamer Z4, whatever the something. Robert Duvall, the actor, just passed away. I'm just looking at the
Oh, really?
headline.
Oh,
Yeah,
sad.
sorry,
Mhm.
sorry, sorry.
Oh,
Anyway,
yeah.
so I'm driving a black convertible two-seater Z4, and it's cool, but
Oh, I love that.
I needed a Z though. I had Z's all those years, starting with the 1979 and then the 2005 and the 2008 and anyway,
Mhm.
going all the way up.
Oh yeah, I
So,
love my 300ZX. Oh, I've got a Porsche
oh,
Boxster now, a 2001. Yeah, my wife had
oh,
always wanted one, so I looked on Auto Trader. British guy had just popped up, went to his house immediately. It had been sitting in his garage, never driven in the rain, 2001. It
oh,
had like 30,000 miles on it, not a scratch or blemish on it. And yeah, I paid him, I'll tell you, 6,500 bucks. Can you believe that?
no.
Yeah, the phone was ringing off the hook, and he goes, "Nope, I already have buyer here. Nope, nope, I've already committed to selling it to this gentleman." And so, yeah, my wife, it's her car, but I have to admit that I feel the need for speed. It's a family trade.
Yeah,
And
we
my
can
father
quote
lived to
that.
82 and never rarely drove below 80 miles an hour anywhere he went. So,
Wow. Well, I have to tell you, I designed a garage floor for my the white and the red Z. I had a
uh,
two-car garage and I bought tiles to go over the concrete floor, and these were snap together tiles. A friend came with a hammer, with a
mhm,
rubber hammer mallet, and put them together, and I had two white bays edged in red tiles with black around the perimeter.
mhm.
It was like a race car, and I designed it, and then I ordered the tiles, and they were a little, bumpy, but they were supposed to be. They didn't hurt the tires, but they looked spectacular. So
Hmm.
I designed, I don't know how many women you know design garage floors to go with their sports car.
That's not three, right? Okay.
No, no, no. That was a lot of good memories are coming back. All right, let's see what topic we want to do now. Wait a minute. What, hold on, hold on.
Is it for me?
Well, it might be. Hold on. Hello? Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, well, you're watching us, of course. Who's there now? Quentin Tarantino? Okay. Scorsese? Yeah. Clint Eastwood. Hi, Clint. Okay. Mel Brooks? Well, the memory of Mel Brooks. Guy Ritchie is there. Michael Bay, James Cameron. Come on, Zemeckis, Sorkin. Oh, what a group. You're having brunch somewhere in California. You're having a lot of good coffee in honor of Rob. Yes, you are watching the show. Seth MacFarlane, hi. Lauren Michaels, well, you had a good, I don't know if you were on Saturday night. I don't think so. Shonda Rhimes, my favorite. Shonda, we need more girls there. Okay, so what do you want to do? Okay, you want to make a movie or a TV show. You want Rob to select the director. You want him to pick the genre, action, drama, fantasy, musical, romance, comedy, sci-fi, thriller, horror, time travel, whatever he wants, but it's not his biopic. I don't know. He's got a pretty strong ego, but I think he can deal with it. But the character, the lead, is going to be based on Rob's story, but it's not his biopic. So it's a fictional character with a reference to Rob's life, oh, you heard my intro. Yeah, it was 11 stanzas. I thought it was pretty good too. He liked it. Ryan Coogler's there too. Hi, Ryan. Okay, Ron Howard, you're very busy. Thank you for showing up. Okay, so Rob is going to pick the director, whether it's TV or film. If it's TV, is it a limited series or an ongoing or a one-time mini movie, whatever. And he's going to pick the genre and he has to pick the lead actor and the title. Well, that's a lot of work. I don't know how much coffee Rob had this morning. We'll have to see. Okay, we'll get back to you. Thank you very much for calling. Bye. Okay, love you too. Bye. Yeah, they're favorites of my show. They like the show. Okay,
No,
Rob.
leave me alone, especially Quentin Tarantino. I
I
mean, just,
know, I
it's
know.
like, not
I
today.
I gave them a hint that you'd be here, and they said the bleeding edge guy. Yeah, we got to
Yeah,
talk to him. So,
that's
what's your pleasure?
paparazzi. It just
What's your
overwhelm you.
pleasure? Movie or TV, and who's going to direct it, and what's the title? The genre, first the genre, then the title, and who's going to play the lead character who is based on you but is not you. So that's a lot. So, what do you think?
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I'd pick Quentin Tarantino as a director. I love offbeat movies and with a touch of the of violence. Kill Bill is one of my favorite movies with Uma Thurman. Yeah, mixing all the martial arts and the sort of underdog story.
Okay.
And so Quentin Tarantino and
What's the
uh,
title?
a good question. Let's call it the bleeding edge, so I can give a,
I thought so. I
a
thought
shout
so.
out to the company that'll still be going somewhere and making me money.
Okay. All right. Not bad. Could be bleeding edge dude.
Bleeding edge, dude.
Bleeding edge
Right.
world. I don't know. All right. It's your movie. It's you're deciding it. Okay. And who's going to be the lead actor? What's their name going to be? Do we have a name for the character?
Actually, we do have a name for the character. Yeah, well,
Okay.
this is an interesting story. A little segue. When I was
Yeah.
born, my mom passed out from all the drugs or something, and so they asked my dad what name to put on the birth certificate, and he said Flint Dean. And so my birth certificate had Flint Dean on it. My mom woke up and had a fit and changed it to Robert Charles. But I always look back on that and I think, if my name had been Flint Dean, my life would have turned out differently. I mean,
So
Robert Charles, has like
that's
recitals for, and
it does. It's very
so
executive.
that's right. Okay, yeah.
Flint Dean. So is Flint Dean the character in this film?
The character would be Flint Dean.
Wait a minute. I'd be still my
Okay.
heart be
Thank you. See,
oh,
it makes a difference. Names make a
that's
difference.
phenomenal. I couldn't have thought of a better name. Okay, so we've got a little bit of it's Bleeding Edge and it's Flint Dean and how a combination of genre. You want a little bit of danger, thriller, murder mystery, action, sci-fi. What is it? Give me a mix.
Oh, I love like action, but more of a thriller. And it has to have martial arts in it, and it has to be like dire circumstances and saving the world type of thing. And so that
With great music, of course. Great.
Well, of course, I would have to do the soundtrack myself. Would be
Yeah,
part of the contract, and that's been the big holdup when Tarantino and
I'll make it
Spielberg, all
happen.
the directors, like, I will not do it unless you
Well,
allow me to
Spielberg
do the
wasn't
sound.
there today. I don't know if you noticed, but he was
I
missing
don't
from the
know.
group.
He's over me.
He's Listen, I used to do stand up and you're taking over now. That's
It's
very
not
interesting.
me. It's not me. It's you.
Okay, and is this a full-length movie or is going to be a prequel or trilogy? Is there a sequel, a whatever, how many quills they
Oh
have?
no! Well, we'll start with the movie, but it would be so overwhelmingly popular. There would be obviously a part two and a part three, and so forth and so on. Sort of like Keanu Reeves and the
Is Keanu going to be the star? Is that who you decided?
actually no, I think I'll go with Daniel Craig. And
Is he young enough for that kind of a part? What do you think? Is he
Yeah,
still
oh,
prime?
we've got CGI now, Bonnie. It's
Yeah, I know, but we want it
we
to be
can we
real
can make
deal.
would look like the
Careful.
not that there's anything wrong with how he looks
But
now.
it's not an animated, it's not a 3D animated movie. No,
Oh,
this
no,
is
no, no,
real
no, no,
people.
no. Yeah,
Real
but
people.
yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Well, mine will be very simple and it'll have a redhead starring in it and it'll be a sitcom, six shows, and it'll be similar to what Leanne Morgan did, which is where she launched her show and hers was 19 episodes the last season, not the stand-up special, but the sitcom,
Mm-hmm.
and it was 19 minutes without any commercials. So you get in and you get out. The story's there. You start, you finish a little this and that, but it'll be
Hmm.
a little bit similar to Reba McEntire's new show called Happy's Place, where she inherits a bar
Yeah.
restaurant from her dad. And little be known, dad had a little side fling with a little lady and had a little daughter. And the daughter shows up and says, "Hi, I'm your sister and your half sister." She's got an MBA in psychology, wants to take over the place. Well, it doesn't really work out that way, but it's the blending of the daughters, the families, and the cook, and the people who are the staff there, and the customers are never in it, but they're in the background, oblivious to all of this stuff going on. But it's very funny, very well written, and Reba sings the opening song. So I would want mine to be, it would be based on one of the Donna Summer songs, and it could be "She Works Hard for the Money" or "Hot Stuff." I think it would be called "Hot Stuff." And that way
Hmm.
they could serve hot stuff sauce with their fries and
I
burgers.
like it. Double entendre,
You
right?
see, you see. But I don't eat red meat, so it would only be turkey burgers or chicken burgers. It would be a different kind of, but not vegan, not vegan. It would definitely be
Hmm.
salmon burgers, shrimp burgers, turkey burgers. Yeah, something like that. And yeah, so that would be mine. And it would be 6 episodes, limited series, see how it went. And then there would be another season. So what do you think? Would you watch it?
Oh yeah, of course I'd watch it. I might even watch it. I never watch anything twice. I might watch it twice.
Oh, I'm so flattered, so incredibly flattered. Well, I think we've done with that part of the show. So thank you for that. I loved your movie choice, by the way. That's
Oh,
really,
thank you. Oh, and shout out to Reba and Redheads.
well, of course. Bien sûr, pourquoi pas? Okay, so let's go with it's time for our, uh, now I have to tell
Stay
you,
absurd.
based on this segment of the show called Say What? You have to say that. Can you say that?
Say what?
That's one of the best. Oh my God. On January 1st of this year, I started a brand new series called Say What? Good News. And it's 4 to 4.5 minutes a day, every weekday. And it's just me. And we're going to play the outro music. I created the music too. Instead of the normal music, we'll play the outro music here. But I took this, so I have saved from the Cool Dude shows from last year. I collected over 200 good news stories. So I'm
Hmm.
recycling a couple of them into the Say What. It's two good news stories every day, done on the screen on PowerPoint, and then the birthdays, the famous birthdays that day in calendar history, and sometimes the music for that day, music events. So let's go to. I'm going to turn over the screen share to you. I'm stopping the music share. And would you like to share your three Say What stories with us, please, Rob?
I would be delighted,
Well,
Bonnie,
aren't you
and
pleasant? Aren't you kind? Okay.
I try to be. Okay.
Oh, that's gorgeous. I want that. What is it?
Those are fractals, but I've always been fascinated with the brain and neurology, and years ago, my younger brother had been involved in a pretty horrific car accident, and it looked touch and go whether he was going to live or not. Was in a coma, massive brain injury, and he came to in the ICU, and was moved to Shepherd Spinal Center, which is a wonderful, hospital here in Atlanta. And I was in his room, and he finally, began to communicate again. But, again, massive brain trauma. He had a roommate that was Hispanic. And I came in one day and he's carrying on this detailed conversation in Spanish with his roommate. And my brother didn't speak Spanish.
Oh my
And
goodness.
so I just watched this in awe. And, I asked the room, I was like, was his Spanish accurate? Or you actually, he goes, oh, yeah, he's fluent. And, over the next, week or two, that ability just left. And that just kindled my interest in savant syndrome. And what you're looking at is another individual that had brain trauma. When he came out of it, he was doing all these little squiggles and was starting drawing all these geometric patterns. And turned out those were very complicated fractals. I mean, you've seen people that don't play an instrument, and then they come out, and all of a sudden, they can play like Oscar Peterson. And so, that process is just fascinating to me. You're familiar with terminal lucidity, people that, have dementia or, areas of their brain just completely gone. Oftentimes, before they pass away, it's like they become their old selves again for a few minutes.
Mm.
And they remember everybody. They start carrying on conversations, and then they pass. So it
Hmm.
was something that neuroscientists understand very little about, and there are several theories about it. But anyhow, that every time I see a story about it, I'm like, say what?
There you go. Right on the theme. That's quite a gorgeous picture. So your brother was able to speak fluent Spanish on the spot for no particular known reason in his history at that moment in time, but only briefly. Isn't that
Yeah,
interesting?
just for a few days, and then it passed as he started regaining his other skills. And now he's back,
Fascinating.
pretty much to normal, but it took years to recover from that.
Wow. Well, send him our regards, please.
I
Wow.
will.
Wow, that is a say what story. What's your next one?
Okay, and this next one, let me pull this up. Got things sneaking into the screen,
I see.
and
That's fun.
here we go.
What's he doing?
And that young man is whistling. So there's an island in the Canary Islands, and they have a language called Silbo Gomero, and it's basically just whistles. And so they were in a position where, because they had to communicate across these long distances, they found that in the valleys, that they could whistle and people could hear the whistle miles
Yeah,
away. And so they
yeah.
developed an intricate language, even though their native language is, Castilian Spanish, this whistling language, so that people could understand them from miles away. And, that was fascinating to me. It's like I've worked for some language companies and translation companies, and there are a number of these languages, almost extinct languages or extinct languages, that are just remarkable. But that one caught my attention.
Yeah. Say what? Indeed.
Say what?
There you, oh, you are good. Oh, you are good. If I was looking for a co something, you'd be hired, but I'm not, so it's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
There
yeah.
you go.
Good and me often don't come up in the same sentence.
What's next?
Well, when I'm good, I'm good. But when I'm
I know.
right.
You remember the
Okay. And
rhyme? You remember the rhyme? There was a little girl who had a little curl right in the middle of her forehead, and when she was good, she was very, very good, and when she was bad, she was horrid.
she was, oh, yeah.
I didn't say that, and
Oh,
everybody,
yeah.
nobody will remember that, maybe except you. Okay, what are we looking at here? It looks nautical,
Okay.
barnacle.
And this little thing was an artifact that was discovered. And hold on one second here. Why is my screen going dark? Oh my God, I'm going
We can
dark.
see
It's
it. We
the
can see
end.
it. We can see it. It's okay.
I'm going
You're still
down.
see. You're still showing. Go.
And this is a let me see if I can get the name on this right. Pronounce it correctly.
You did before the show. I was
Yeah,
impressed.
yeah. This is an Antikythera mechanism, and this is like a fascinating invention. It was a mystery until the last few decades, but they're not really sure what it is. It's just a hand-powered clockwork model of the solar system, and it was used to predict celestial locations and eclipses decades in advance.
Oh,
It's considered the oldest example of an analog computer ever found in the world, and is one of those findings that's just enigmatic. It was discovered in 1901 on the wreckage of a shipwreck off the shore of
wow.
Antikythera, which is a Greek island. But
Can you show the article on the screen so people can see how to spell that? I know you have the article
oh
somewhere.
yeah, yeah. Hold on one second. Let me get this. And
There we
nope,
go.
wrong,
No, wrong
wrong
one.
language. And
We're getting there. There's our
we're getting
whistler.
there. We're getting there. It's
We're
the
getting
drag
there.
and drop. And how many screens can this man have open? So there we go.
Antikythera. There we are.
Antikythera.
I saw
Yeah,
it.
I'm gonna say that
Okay.
3 times fast.
Antikythera, antikythera, antikythera. Okay.
There. Okay.
Sounds like my muscles are hurting. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Antikythera. Okay. Very,
What
very
about?
interesting.
Okay.
So this is another
And
picture. This a picture of the same thing, but not full of sea and barnacles.
uh, oh, that's just and it's just to give you an idea that these are all gears. But yeah,
Okay.
that's the picture of the artifact in the museum in Greece,
Very
which
interesting.
is uh, which
Thank
is
you. You
hey, well,
are
I
a
was
say
there.
what champion. Very, very good. You're going to stop sharing now, and I'm going to see if I can share mine. I've got three, and I hope they tickle your fancy. Let me see if I can find where I put them. Here we go.
I'm
I,
waiting with
I,
bated breath.
well, I know, and something tells me that you might be ready for a nap, so we're going to talk about that for a minute. Nap time. When? Say what? This is a study from a year ago, February 20, almost exactly a year ago. This is odd. Talker Research ran a survey between January 23rd and 27th last year, commissioned by Avocado Green Mattress. I know that that's what they're selling. And they found that most people surveyed 2,000 American adults. They aim for a 51-minute nap and they aim to wake up at 2:33 p.m. Now that's a little bit specific for me,
Hmm.
but the reason is that naps that are longer than 1 hour and 26 minutes, which is a heck of a lot longer than 51 minutes, enter the danger zone where you might feel groggy, not refreshed because you're in deep sleep and it's hard to
Mm.
wake up. So they say a quick 20-minute nap. Now they're all over the place because first they said 57 minutes, then they said an hour and 20. Now 20. A 20-minute nap is perfect for recharge. Napping before 3 in the afternoon will not interfere with your nighttime sleep schedule if you have one. I know I was always leery when the babysitter, when my kids were very little and I was working and dropped them off at the nearby babysitter on my way to the bus stop. She would let them take a nap in the afternoon and then they wouldn't sleep. So I'd say it has to, and her name was Mrs. Buckles. They have to sleep before 2 o'clock in the afternoon somehow.
Mhm.
Otherwise, they'll get home and we'll have dinner and they just won't sleep. They'll be wide awake. And my kids were wide awake late at night. Well, some sleep experts recommend quiet. A lot of people, 44%, like some background noise. Do you like to nap with noise or do you nap in front of the TV or sleep with
I find it
music?
impossible. I cannot nap. I'm not a napper. Can't do it. Can't sleep on a plane. Can't nap.
I nap in front of the TV. I watch a lot of French and Danish language detective shows. I'm binging on one called
Really?
the Summerdale Murders. I'm on season
Mhm.
6 right now, and I can fall asleep sitting up on the couch, and then I know how long I nap because I rewind to where I remembered the last scene, and I see how many minutes went by.
No,
So
that's a workaround, Bonnie. That's pretty good.
it's very interesting. 47% of these nappers said they fall asleep with the TV on. 7% use a white noise machine. You know, you have
Hmm.
white noise apps on your phone sometimes. Some people use those. 53% nap in a bed, 38% nap on the couch. Well, I mostly nap on the couch. And as far as success, 48% of the self-described nappers, I don't like the way that word sounds, report having a thriving social life versus 34% of non-nappers. 50%
Hmm.
said their love life is making them happy. We'll leave that one alone. 39% said versus 32 said non-nappers reported feeling successful. So that's pretty close. And
Hmm.
74% of nappers consider environmental impact in decisions they make versus 68. So it's fairly split. This guy looks very relaxed. Let's go to the next story. And this is for you because you're such a language user and an English language person who uses language in so many different media in your life, in your job, in your company. So this is for you. I'm just going to read you a couple of Words that are considered the silliest in the English language, according to senior editor Jennifer A. Freeman. I like to give credit from wordsmarts.com/bizarre dash words. And she says lollygag, which is to tell me when I hit one that you really like, fool around or dawdle or procrastinate.
Hmm.
Collywobbles, which is, ugh, you got a stomach ache. My stomach has colly.
Wobbles.
Diphthong, you know diphthong, right?
Of course. Hmm.
Okay, yeah,
Hmm.
these are when linguistic phenomena when two vowels produce a sound that neither makes alone. Gubbins, I didn't know this one. It's mostly British. A fancy new car. Hey, maybe your wife's car has all the
Gubbin.
gubbins. There you go. It's a kitchen mystery drawer, could be full of gubbins. It's been used since the 16th century, and its definition is miscellany or miscellany, dates back to the 20th century early. Borigamus. Borigamus, the sound of a tummy rumbling that has something to do with collywobbles. Widdershins, it means you're going in the wrong direction, a direction contrary to the sun's course, meaning you're unlucky. He's Widdershins.
Mm.
Okay. Hobbledehoy, I've heard similar, but I don't know that one. Clumsy or awkward young person. And it also relates to houses that have, anyway, no running water. Tomatoes were thought to be poisonous. We'll leave that one alone. But they mean it for
Mm.
teenagers. He's hobbledehoy, meaning he's kind of awkward. He hasn't arrived yet. Mugwump, this was a political term from the Algonquin
Mhm.
word for great chief. It was an insult to call someone with a big ego a mugwump. Ah, interesting. And
Mhm.
troglodyte. I just like the way that sounds. A person who lived in a cave. I think we've all met some people like who really seem like lived in caves. Applied to a modern hermit. Maybe I'm a
Ah,
troglodyte because I work from home all the time. They don't
yeah.
have to reside in a cave. You can imagine this as an insult from an 80s comedy flick. What a troglodyte. You can call
Mhm.
someone deliberately ignorant or old-fashioned. I think we'll see. Did you have a favorite one of these, these nine, Rob? Anything you really liked?
Actually, there are some new ones in there for me, and
Yeah.
obviously troglodyte, is always a favorite. Or Neanderthal is a
Yeah.
good one. I do have one that you need to add to your list. I have
Yes.
to look it up, but it's a German word, and it translates as a face seriously in need of a fist.
You'll send it to me if you come back on the
I'll
show.
send that to you so you can add
We'll
it to your
do it
vocabulary. But
again.
that was, and the Japanese as well have a ton of words that have
I
no translation in
I
in Western languages or Romance
I
languages. They're
bet
so
they do.
specific.
And do you know what? I'm going to stop sharing for a second here because it looks like Zoom is doing something funky with my sharing and it's overlapping the pages. So let's see if we can try it again.
Hmm.
So there we are. We're back with
That's
sharing.
lovely. Hmm.
Now we can see it. Yes, now it's on the screen. Sometimes it takes two pages. So the Academy Awards, fondly known as the Oscars, are going to be on Sunday, March 15th, 2026 at 7 p.m. Eastern, blah, blah, blah. In 1940, the LA Times accidentally published the 12th Academy Award winners before the TV show was over. How did that happen?
Gladiator,
Rob,
right?
you want to know how did that happen? Well, I'll tell you, because the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences weren't very artful or scientific because they gave some newspapers the list in advance and said, please don't publish until the ceremony is over. Well, the LA Times came out at 8:45 p.m. Hello, and the TV show wasn't over yet. So everybody knew, say what? Gone with the Wind won Best Picture, but it hadn't been announced on the screen. The film won seven other Oscars that night, including Best Director for Victor Fleming, who was working on multiple movies at the time, Best Actress for Vivian Leigh, Best Supporting Actress for Hattie McDaniel, who made history. Fleming was also working on The Wizard of Oz. So he had two great movies that year, and that one won original score and original song for Oh, Somewhere Over the Rainbow. But the solution was the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences stopped sending newspapers the winners before the event and began what we know now as the sealed event on screen, where they say, and we're going to open the envelope, please. That's what they say. Okay, so there we go. Yeah. Did you know that they had
I,
pre-announced? Is that news?
I have learned something here today, and it was like never send advanced copies of information to a journalist. That's yeah.
We will leave that one on the table exactly where it is. So,
I'm gonna send
Rob, I
Atticus
have
pie. Yeah, just don't eat it until tomorrow.
I have a question for you. And the question is, if a young person or anybody came to you and said, OMG, I saw you on Bonnie D's show. I just love the way you said, say what? I love the stories you show, the fractals and the this and the that's, and your music and your story and your life. Rob, how would you advise that person, whoever they are, any age, any belonging to anything? I won't get into specifics. How would you advise them to be a cool dude like you?
What I would tell them, and honestly, and I don't know why, but parents seem to have a habit of sending me their kids, to give them advice when they want to go into film or, go into marketing or, any of these. And I tell them it's like, if they're 18, it's like, don't go to college yet. Just get yourself a nice backpack and some hiking boots and spend at least a year traveling the world. And I said, and frankly, it's like, I've got a lot of education, but the things that I use are not things that I learned in school. And don't feel like you're obligated to incur student debt. You can learn anything you need to learn without, sitting in a classroom for 4 years and getting a degree on paper. And honestly, when people interview with me, I could care less if they have a degree or, what their degrees are in. It's just, I will ask them questions and give them some challenges and see if they can do it. I only care what you can do, not what a piece of paper says. Of
Very
course,
well
parents come
put.
back and they go, Rob told me to like travel the world. I'm
Oh,
headed
goodness.
to
Yeah, yeah. Rob, go
hike
hide
the
in the
Inca
back.
Trail, next week. And
Hide in
I'll
the
see you
back
next
before the
year.
parents find out where you are. My advice is usually I have mentored several people in the corporate world, and sometimes I get a call when I make a donation to one of my alma mater. I don't know what the plural
Mm,
of alma mater is. I'll get a young person who calls me on the phone, and I'll say, "What are you studying? What do you do?" And I'll say, "May I give you little bit of advice?" They say, "Sure." I mean, they have no idea who I am other than a name and waiting for the money, and I'll say, if you see, this is part of a Leonard Cohen, a lyric in one of his songs, very well known. And I'll say, if you see a crack in the window and the light's coming in, or you see the door is open a little bit, open the window, kick open the damn door, and see what's on the other side. It could be an opportunity. It could be something new. It could be something exciting. It could be a chance to dabble, to learn something, to try your skills, to get out of a rut and become. And I think, I don't know how many careers you've had. I think several. I think on my seventh or ninth or 11th. And
ah,
most of them came just because I tried something new. I'm
mhm,
not a trained journalist or a broadcaster. I was not trained in thought leadership radio, which I
mhm,
started for SAP in 2011. I was the first one, and they were training salespeople based on my show, How to Have a Conversation. And I ended up with 48 series for SAP based on the first one I started because everybody wanted one.
mhm,
They'd never heard of just sitting and talking without selling and talking about rather than ka-ching, ka-ching. So
mhm.
nobody taught me that. Nobody taught me to be a graphic designer. Nobody taught me, well, I do have a couple of computer degrees, but aside from that, find out what's on the other side. Dabble, play, travel, put the backpack
Mm.
on. Do it safely, do it well. Don't expect
Safely.
don't expect, I know that takes all the fun out of it. Don't expect perfection. Don't expect profitability or perfection or productivity right away. Try something and see what you like, find out what you love, and then learn to be good at something. That's my advice. What do you think? Cool,
I
Bean?
love that. It's like the African proverb, go to the roar. In the African savannah, the
Yeah.
lions would roar and everybody would run from the roar, but the lions are terrible. The women do all the work. So basically they roar to chase all the prey toward the lionesses so that they can eat them. And so, it's been my philosophy in life ever since I ran away from home in diapers. And
Did I have that in your? I didn't have that in your bio. You know what?
But that, well,
I'm
my parents told me. I didn't remember. They said when I was still in diapers, a toddler, that I somehow managed to get the front door unlatched, climbed down the stairs, and took off. The whole neighborhood was out looking for me. They found me next to a creek, just having a grand old time. But I was like, yeah, little kid. I was like, hey, I'm going to blow this one horse town. I'm out of here. See ya.
always on the bleeding edge. I wonder what your toes look like. We're gonna leave that one alone. Rob Burgner, Rob B. It has been just a pure delight getting to know you. I hope you'll come back and we'll do some more things together. I have some other shows in mind for you. I'd love to invite you on. Thank you again to Laura Doman, Doman. She's a voiceover actress. She's
Yeah.
an artist. She is a very interesting, very talented, and wonderful person. And Laura, thank you so much for the introduction. Let's give a mwah to Laura. There you go. Give her a blow a kiss.
Mwah.
Mwah. And instead instead of playing the music for this, I'm going to play the outro music for my Say What show because Rob said it so well. I think he deserves that. I'm going to raise my So What coffee cup here, the one with
Say
the D. Here we go. Can you hear that?
Good news.
Good news. Rob,
Good news.
here he is. Listen to the words. Morning coffee in his cup. Scrolling. Had enough. Same old drama. Same old feed. Flip that dial. That's what we need. Turn it up. Let the good vibes fade. Hit play. Good news. We talk about it. Let's lift that mood, right, Rob? Almost ready to close. Feel that smile coming through.